morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening and where you're listening. Regardless, thank you for listening. The show is NXT Talk. We talk all things NXT. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour. How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. Just rough times for the black and yellow brand, buddy.
Yep, it really is. We are the Buffalo Bills of the wrestling world.
Just taking L after L after L. But you know what? This was a halfway decent show. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yes. It was an improvement. Ish. Certain things. So, on this week's episode, we are going to be talking, reviewing, analyzing NXT TV from August the 3rd. And we're going to be talking NXT UK on NXT UK Corner. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Big things happening in Toronto sports. We're going to touch on that in the BAM show later on in the week. We also have a retro review coming in that show. I'm excited. Royal Rumble 1993, one that's near and dear to my heart, Boris.
Yep, and it was a listener request, so that's kind of cool.
Very exciting.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm raring to go. Little inside baseball before the show. We switched roles this week, and I took the copious amount of notes, and I'm going to be doing the play-by-play. I'm going to be the Michael Cole, and Boris is going to be my Pat McAfee for the brand.
Yep, for the brand. It's just been a crazy week, and for the second week straight, I was not able to watch live, so I started a little later. And, we've been talking about switching up the roles for an episode for shits and giggles, if anything else. But, so thanks for doing it. Means a lot. Things have been insane on my end. For those of you who heard on the midweek markout, it was a weekend of debauchery, but there was a lot of other stuff going on. Nothing bad. It's just a lot.
Yeah, man, a lot. Well, life gets in the way from time to time, but this is why it's a duo, brother. This is why it's a partnership. I'm glad to pick up the slack sometimes. I was interested to try it out. I have a newfound respect for what you do, note-wise, and I think we're going to take it, in a slightly different direction. You're more meticulous with the blow-by-blow. I'm going to be a little more big picture with the match stuff, but I have 25 pages of handwritten notes that I hold right here. Old school, baby.
Do not mess them up.
Oh, no, I carefully numbered, even highlighted to make sure I don't mess them up, in fact.
Amazing. But yeah, that's awesome. What else is going on? We talked about BAM tomorrow. Oh, yeah, midweek markout. It was Mark and I this week. The Smack Daddies, the SmackDown review. It's going to be one or both of Matt and I on that show.
With Brad, I believe.
Yep. And then
hopefully Greg as well. We'll see.
We'll see what happens scheduling wise. But then next week, I believe that I am going to be filling in for Dan I'm going to be an old fuck next week.
Nice. Boris the Mouth. I love it. Right on, brother.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do you want to just jump right into it?
I don't know, I guess. Yeah, let's do it. We don't have to dilly-dally around any longer, my friend. Get situated here. But there's one thing that we haven't talked about.
Well, there you go. You see? If you're gonna lead the conversation,
that was still your line. You know what I mean? But yes, so we do have to cover as the young guns here at NXT Talk. We're sick of star ratings. We're done with them, if you will. We like to change it up. A rating du jour. And due to the final spot of this show, I believe we're gonna go full mounts out of 5. This week, Boris.
Full horn dog mounts.
Full horn dogs out of 5.
I love it. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. NXT August 3rd, 2021. Starts with a recap of the 3 big feuds coming into TakeOver 36, which are Dakota versus Raquel, Cole and O'Reilly, and of course, Joe and Cross. The Lover or Lose Her match, by God. Hit Row out to start the show. Top Dollar looking like an absolute badass wearing that ski mask.
You know what's actually hilarious? I have a ski mask just back there.
Oh my. Is it baby blue like that?
No, it's actually neon green.
Oh, nice. Not bad. Santos out with a hammy jacket, 6 out of 10 on the Jason Agnew scale of jacket.
Yeah, and very interesting leather pants.
Yeah, definitely. An interesting
I don't
look.
know how you can wrestle in those.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Well, Santos didn't do any wrestling, but
No, true.
Yes, but yeah. Anyway, so we're getting into a tag team match: Legado del Fantasma versus Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis. So yeah, babyfaces jump the bell. Santos calms the troops down on the outside after the babyfaces beat the absolute shit out of them in the start. And this was a good little showcase for the babyfaces at the start. Ashanti takes control. Hits a nice DDT, plants, I believe it was Mendoza. Precisely nobody in the CWC reacted to it, but you know what, it got to me, Boris. Top Dollar tags in, doing his big guy things, does that weird armbar thing where you grab the guy up by the armpit, stretches him up, similar to a Goldberg type maneuver. It kind of looks like ice dancing.
Yeah.
You know the move I'm talking about? Does it work for you, that one, Boris?
You know what? It does, because he's a big guy. He can make it look menacing, at least.
At least it's an excuse for a big guy to stare in the camera and, scream big guy things.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, it's all baby faces until Wild pulls the rope down as Ashanti hits it, and we go to a commercial break. We come back with the heels in control. Unfortunately, because it's Canada, we do not get picture-in-picture, so we're missing spots all over the place. I do love Legado's dive roll clothesline spot in the corner, similar to the New Day Unicorn Stomp.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. The only thing there was the camera work was really off.
Agree with that. Yeah, it was. Yeah, again, NXT's kind of in a weird place all over. Like, it feels like there's cuts up and down the roster.
Like, even the production people are being called up to the main roster.
Exactly. It's tough to say where everything's at. Anyway, there's another 6 spot in this match where I believe it was Joaquin Wilde goes for a Shining Wizard out of a sunset flip. Ashanti kind of like does a poor man's Matrix by just laying down for the duck. Really like that. That leads to a tag. Top Dollar's come back. Basic but good, big guy stuff. And as Top Dollar is running wild, Santos Escobar hits him in the back with a chair for the DQ finish at 10 minutes and 54 seconds, Boris. So your winners by disqualification: Hit Row, Ashanti, and Top Dollar.
Yeah, this match did exactly what it needed to do. But I got to be honest, I was actually expecting more out of the match. I thought there would be more wrestling, especially considering 3 out of the 4. I'm excluding Top Dollar, just in case he's very green. He's very rookie. I don't know how good or bad he is just yet. I'm liking what I'm seeing. He knows how to be a big guy, but I was expecting a lot more from the other 3 in this match.
I think you're right on the money with that. I agree. But I will say, average match, awesome post-match angle. So quickly, they get so Santos and the boys, having hit him with the chair, they really they start working over Swerve Scott specifically. They rip his grill out, Boris. Heel maneuver. Beat the shit out of him. They're going to Pillmanize his neck and murder him live on television. Top Dollar comes in with the save. And I really appreciated this. B-Fab actually hits Santos, I believe, in the back with the chair. And
Santos.
and then everybody in Hit Row gets a chance to shine. And all 4 of them got a chance to actually respond to this beatdown. And they all stood tall together. I thought that was a really good move because you rarely see it in WWE.
Yep. Exactly. The company where they don't know how face is going to face. But the thing that I liked about this is the proverbial stealing of the grill. That's the 2021 equivalent of the 1995 stealing of Bret Hart's jacket.
Yes, exactly. This is a group of Jean-Pierre Lafitte's, these Legado del Pirates. Legado del Lafitte. Anyway, I really like this post-match angle. I think it boosted the average wrestling match, so perhaps it's generous, but we're going to go 3 full mounts out of 5 for this one, Boris. 60% full mount percentage.
Yep, I like that. It makes sense because, like you said, I think the post-match shenanigans, the post-match story, it's adding to the overall story. Hence, therefore, talking about our 3 pillars of wrestling, this one was a win.
Exactly right, buddy. Exactly right. Okay, so a Samoa Joe William Regal promo. The security that worked for Samoa Joe is now working against him, Boris. It is now security that has to keep him away from Karrion Kross. That was pretty clever. Anytime you see William Regal, even for 10 seconds, it is a treat. Little Ridge Holland recap. I thought this was pretty good. NXT's really great at recap videos and hype videos. More on this later. Here's something that didn't quite sit so well with me. Creepy Dexter Loomis promo. Scary music. He's drawing pictures of Indy Hartwell. If you didn't know the story coming in, and he's going to be the good guy in the end, this is quite, if you're watching a one-off episode, self-contained story, this was pretty bad. Pretty weird and creepy.
Yep. You know, I've been saying this for a long time. Like Dexter Loomis has no reason to be the face in this.
Yeah. Well, it's just because Indy is receptive to it and she's driving the bus in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's a fine line. It's a very, very fine line, buddy.
Unlike Max Caster's intro that had to get cut from YouTube.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
There was no fine line there.
Oh, man, he is thirsty, Max Caster. At least in this one, it's a two-way thirst. You know what I mean? The Max Caster MJF thing, it's more of a one-way thirst.
Yep.
All right. So, moving on. Ikemen Jiro versus Ridge Holland. Ikemen coming out 7 out of 10 on the Agnew jacket scale, I believe, today. Ridge Holland has some mean guy offense, Boris. He's got the headbutts. He's got the chin locks. He's got the knees. Exploder suplex. Bunch of, like, basic moves like your snapmares and power slams. He's got one move in specific that I thought was pretty interesting. He puts his opponent on the ropes, a la Nigel McGuinness, shoves them off all willy-nilly and brutal. And once they hit the floor, he does like a Baron Corbin style, like quick fancy run to the outside, gathers speed, and pounces his opponent the fuck into the barricade.
Yep.
And Ikemen Jiro took an amazing bump for this. This looked incredible. This was by far the best and only notable thing in this match.
Yeah. It's almost as if they looked up and down the roster only to see who can sell the best.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Ikemen is that man, but you know what? He did sell very, very well in this match for sure. So Ridge also busted out some Gangrel-esque double underhook belly to bellies. I like that move. It's been a while since I saw a wrestler do that.
Yep.
Basically, Ridge Holland wins with like an Emerald Flosion-ish thing. It was like a power slam, kind of sat out of it. In 3 minutes and 13 seconds, Wade Barrett called it the most impressive moment I've seen in NXT. No, it is not that, but it was a solid little squash.
Yeah, it was a squash. We saw a lot of Ridge's moves, offense, and whatnot. Ikemen really didn't get any offense for the most part.
Basically zero.
Yeah. So, but you know. I guess it worked. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm basically right there with you. Like, kind of torn. Like, yeah, it was fine. So we're going to just go, it's pretty average squash. We're going to call it 2.5 full mounts out of 5. 50% full mount percentage on this. Not a technical marvel. Right guy won clearly in an impressive fashion.
Yep, exactly.
Peter Dunne picks up the mic afterwards. Pete Dunne promo, doing some generic bad guy things. But you know what? I really think Pete Dunne has developed as a speaker. He gets his point across well. This wasn't anything interesting, but he did call out Tommaso Ciampa by name again, and that's going to be a feud that continues.
Yep. And I guess Ridge Holland's being going to be courted by Timothy Thatcher.
Yeah, that's good. Teach him how to wrestle. Get in there with Ciampa and Thatcher.
Yep.
All right, so we get a Frankie Monet, Jesse Camilla, Robert Stone promo. Frankie is not used to losing, and she directly blames Robert Stone for the loss last week. Robert Stone agrees in a huff. So this is fine. I like Frankie Monet a lot.
Frankie Monet is just so good.
She's ready to go on the main roster. She needs to be with husband Drip Drip. All right. Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish hype video. It's pretty hilarious to call this a money match and then stick it in the middle of NXT TV.
Yeah.
Not even on a takeover.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much money you're generating at 9:05 on Wednesday. But this
also, how is Bobby Fish the face in this thing?
Yeah, that's a rough one. You know, I mean, like, by name, I suppose. But, like, even then, like, Roderick Strong shouldn't be booed, you know what I mean? He hasn't really done... Has the Diamond Mine done anything dastardly, really? Have they, like...
They beat up, what's-his-face? The Cruiserweight Champion.
Yeah, Kushida.
That's it.
The Time Splitter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, that's dastardly, but they've done so much worse, obviously. I agree with you, buddy. I don't really think... This is a very cold match, and it's just hilarious to call it a money match, but, you know, good effort on the hype video. All Heart Trey Baxter hype video. Another Excuse me. Good effort by the boys. Trey Baxter, impressive in his match against Kushida. Let's see some more of him in NXT. All right, number 3, Roderick Strong versus Bobby Fish. This is it, man. This was, if you're like hard-hitting technical wrestling, you knew exactly what this match was going to be, and it delivered. Bobby Fish's new theme, the new most generic theme of all time this week. Fish is apparently a kickboxing specialist now.
Yep, sure. Why not?
All right, so yeah, the story of this match was very clear. Anytime it devolved into a fist fight, into a striking battle, Bobby Fish would get the advantage. Anytime it went to more of a ground-based match, or if it just sped up with like high-impact wrestling moves, it would be Roderick Strong who got the advantage. So they told that story very, very well, both in the ring and, of course, on commentary. Beth Phoenix literally saying those words a couple times. Yeah, very, very much love this match. Quote, Vic Joseph, this has lived up to the hard-hitting billing.
Yep, sure.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Vic.
Yeah.
But, so exactly what you wanted from Roderick Strong. He busts out the rock bottom backbreaker, the crazy face buster out of the suplex maneuver. He does the thing where he bounces off the ropes to and fro and hits his opponent 15 times in the face. And again, the story being crisp the whole time. I'd like to finish. It was very, very straightforward. Roderick Strong is behind Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish is going to the top rope. Roddy just shoves him. Bobby Fish, he left his game, Boris. He's a striker. He can't be going to the top rope.
Exactly. I liked it. I like the ending overall, and dare I say, the right person won.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, yeah, Roddy shoves Fish. Fish comes back in, but Roddy hits him with a flying knee and the end of Heartache, which is a suplex into a double knee backbreaker. Always looks deadly. This one, it was fine. But so the Roddy Strong wins in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Boris, what did you think, buddy?
I really like this match a lot. Like this match, it gave us exactly what you were expecting it to give. It was a hard-hitting match. It was a fun match. They have chemistry. That much is clear. They're both good wrestlers. That much is clear. I can't say I was expecting any less, and I can't say I was expecting any more for a TV match. It was exactly what it needed to be.
It was a Roderick Strong versus Bobby Fish TV match. But you know what, man? It was very, very good.
Yep.
Exactly. Like scientific, hard-hitting, and the right guy won. Can't complain about it. We're going to go 3 3/4 full mounts out of 5. B+, 75%. Wrestling match here.
Yep, 75% horn dog percentage.
75% horn dog. All right. LA Knight, Cameron Grimes promo. Apparently they have a tag team match together. So I feel like we're missing a beat of this story here, right? Like, why on earth would someone book these two as a tag team? Why would they think that makes sense? Why would they think any outcome other than the one happened?
Well, LA Knight set it up just to embarrass Cameron.
Just to embarrass Cameron?
That's my side story.
All right. Well, they could have at least explained that. But even then, that doesn't make the most amount of sense. But Boris, you know what? I will accept your side story, buddy. But anyway.
Why would they face the Grizzled Young Veterans of all teams, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess, unfortunately, they're at the same point on the card, which is at the very, very bottom.
True.
Right. But yeah, so LA Knight makes Cameron Grimes shine his shoes. Decent, but I'm ready for the blow-off to this angle for sure.
Yep, same here. And hopefully it happens at TakeOver.
Yeah. Or the week after.
Yeah, or
maybe.
like that be the big TV match that they promote after.
Exactly right. I think that's the slot for it, but we'll see. It definitely has to happen very soon. So yeah, Cameron Grimes and LA Knight versus, as you said, Boris, the Grizzled Young Veterans. Good Grizzled Young Veteran promo on the way to the ring. I love this gimmick. I don't know what kind of role-playing I don't know what kind of role-playing game you are playing at the moment, says Zach Gibson. Word, buddy. I agree. Nobody quite knows. Anyway, so match number 4, GYV versus Grimes and Knight. The self-sacrifice spot that the Grizzled Young Veterans do, Boris, where one opponent is being whipped into the rope and the other opponent lays across the corner to absorb the blow. Does that spot work for you, buddy? Is that not the most ridiculous spot in wrestling right now?
Yeah, it is, but whatever. I'll take it.
I don't know. That one bugs me. Something about it. I love the GYV too, but that spot I just hate. Everyone has their spots. Anyway, GYV is very good. I feel bad for them. They need, my friend, a title run. They're very, very talented. So LA Knight, basic wrestler. When he's in the ring with GYV, it's not really much. Inevitably, of course, Cameron Grimes is going for the tag. LA Knight jumps off the apron, fucks him, leaves him alone. The following minute and 20 seconds, whatever was left in this match, where it was Cameron Grimes versus GYV, was phenomenal.
It was awesome. It was exactly what, it was so good.
In ring, the best 2 minutes of the show by a wide margin.
Yeah, by far.
So very tough match to rate. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just gonna say that this match overall, it wasn't great. The story outshone.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the word.
You nailed
Thank
it.
You. Woo. That word. The actual in-ring of the match. So, but it was kind of expected. That's fine. Like, whatever. I kind of like the after-match shenanigans a little more than the match itself, to be honest.
Same. Again, like the tale of two matches. LA Knight versus Grizzled Young Veterans, boring and nothing. Cameron Grimes versus Grizzled Young Veterans, great stuff. So the finish of this match, Grimes going 1 versus 2, running wild, doing his thing, does a tilt-a-whirl, but gets caught in a tombstone position. Of course, that is the setup for Ticket to Mayhem, Boris. 1, 2, and 3. And your winners are the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yep, exactly. As expected. And again, that's fine. Here's the thing with WWE booking. You never know when, you never know how, you never know why. But a small part of me thought Cameron Grimes is going to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually hoped he would too. But yeah, I kind of like what they did. In the post-match, which saw Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, come hobbling out to the ring, he looks young Cameron Grimes in the eyes, who is sitting on the apron, and you hear this on camera. He doesn't say it on microphone, but you do hear him say that, quote, "I know you're a man of your word, Grimes, but you got to figure out a way to get out of this situation." And that is the thesis of what's going on with the storyline for the next couple weeks. But
yeah, so at this point, I look at the time, and I think that 2 weeks ago, they recorded NXT Live, and then they were pre-recorded 2 weeks worth of NXT. Yes, there was stuff that happened backstage that they obviously didn't show to the live crowd, the post-production stuff, but you can noticeably tell the crowd was exhausted by this point.
Oh, big time. Yeah, dead crowd for this NXT. Yeah, there's a couple spots that they popped in the main event, but yeah, the crowd was asleep by this point. Absolutely. So yeah, typical WWE bullshit match with a bullshit storyline until the 90 seconds at the end, which was great. Phenomenal stuff. So I'm going to be generous and bump this up to 3 full mounts out of 5. It's a 60% horn dog percentage, buddy.
Yep. Sounds about right. I like it.
All right, it's time for Dakota Kai's pre-taped digital short promo. This was incredible. Second best promo on the show, and a very, very, very good promo. Great promo, I'd say.
Yep, I like this a lot. It was probably her best ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It definitely made the feud seem much better than it's been on television.
Well, what's happened on TV? Nothing.
Exactly right, but it made it seem like it was this big epic tale, and I definitely liked and appreciated more that Raquel went from sidekick to like the hero, and Dakota felt the sting of being the sidekick a little more.
Yep, exactly. I really enjoy her explanation of everything. Explain.
Yes, yeah. So Raquel says, "I plucked her out of obscurity, put her in the spotlight, and she selfishly stole that opportunity for me." Of course, ridiculous heel logic, because Io challenged Raquel specifically. "I was known as Raquel's sidekick. I am no one's sidekick," says Dakota. If it wasn't for me, Raquel Gonzalez would be nothing," and hits her with the classic mom line, "I brought you into this world, and I can take you out." Great stuff. And again, it made the story look so much better and more coherent than it has been.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think Kai wins?
There's a small chance. I think she might win, only because I do think Raquel's on her way to the main roster. She's fast-tracked.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what I think.
Yeah, I have no faith in WWE to use Raquel well, mind you. And I kind of feel like if she was getting called up, she would have lost on SmackDown 3 times already. But yeah, no, I think there's a small chance. I would still say the favorite is probably Raquel.
Yep. Yeah.
I think they can do, like, they can milk it some more, and Dakota could even win like a fucky match on NXT TV, or they could stretch it to another takeover.
Right. All right. We'll talk about this when we give our picks for NXT Takeover 36.
Yeah, in a week or two.
Yep,
Yes,
2
sir.
weeks.
Yes, sir. All right, so another away promo, Johnny and Candice. They've been the biggest matches in NXT. They've been the biggest stars in NXT history. And, of course, this match ranks right up there, which debatable in my eyes, but you got to sell it, Boris. You got to sell it. And tonight, Johnny Gargano vows to end Index. Boy, I hate that nickname.
Same here.
All right, Joe Gacy promo.
Hold on. Question. Or not question. Comment.
Yes,
Comment.
sir. Yes, sir.
Austin Theory. I miss Austin Theory so much already.
I think the way it might actually be, our fantasy book might come true where he just walked out. Because it's not like Indy's coming back, I don't think.
I don't think so. I think this is it.
Is Dexter joining the way? They kind of hinted at it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But, I'm just, like I said, Austin Theory's been working dark matches on SmackDown, so,
It seems like Vince's type, although you never know. You never know.
You never know.
But yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see if he really walked away. I do think this is kind of the end of this group as we knew it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Joe Gacy promo. This was exactly what you think it was. If you didn't know Joe Gacy, you knew a bit more about him. He is a big, mean man, Boris, and he's here to win this tournament.
Sure. Let's allow him.
I will allow him that chance. Adam Cole, his kayfabe injured. He has a neck compression, a spinal compression, and a, quote, neck injury.
Injuries. That's what they call contract negotiations.
Yes, he's out with contract negotiations. But despite that, he will be here for a face-to-face next week, despite numerous compressions.
I love it. Sure, why not? Again, I'm thinking, honestly, O'Reilly's going to be the heel.
That's interesting. It depends what kind of crowd they get of the 100 NXT extras, the Nextras. I really wish this takeover was going to be in front of some kind of live audience. Somewhere.
Honestly, at this point, I'm fine with the smaller crowds.
It's just the fact that it's pretty like the 100 people in that setup is just not very conducive to a good show. I know what you're saying, but just like watching AEW and then coming back to this show,
of course,
just for one night for the takeover, it would have been nice.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like we're getting to that point with numbers, especially in the States that WWE and AEW like touring. It just like...
Objectively, you're 100% right, man. I can't argue
unfortunately.
with that. Yeah, can't argue with that, buddy. Match number 5 on the night, Joe Gacy versus Trey Baxter. One awesome spot at the start, I want to point out. Gacy catches a tope suicida from Trey Baxter. So Trey Baxter throws a tope suicida. Joe Gacy catches him into a bear hug, throws Trey Baxter into the ropes outside as he springboards back to him, elbows him in the fucking mush. Just an awesome spot.
I really like that. Really like that. That was very creative.
Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't seen that one before. Very, very interesting. Love that spot out of Joe Gacy. Wade Barrett putting over the tournament. Objectively, it's pretty hilarious that they talk so much game about this tournament. They talk about Cameron Grimes and all the stuff, but they can't tell you who won it last year.
I don't remember.
I believe it was Norman Smiley. No, that's terrible. That's a terrible joke. I mean, it's a joke to the shirt that they made. Let me clarify. Let me clarify that joke, Boris.
Just move on.
Fairly basic match here, Joe Gacy versus Trey Baxter. Gacy using his size and strength to lean on Baxter. That's a quote from Beth Phoenix, because that is the Vince McMahon style. Big man gonna lean.
Yeah,
Boris.
Man, even the commentators seemed off tonight.
Yeah. It was. Sometimes you have the fastball and sometimes you don't, man.
Kind of like our show tonight.
Hey, well, it's a learning experience for everyone. That's fine. I think we're doing pretty well, I gotta say. No, it's fine, buddy. Anyway, so yeah, the finish of this match was actually pretty dope. Baxter is on Gacy's back, backpack style. Gacy does a cannonball into the corner with Baxter on his back, which was crazy. Sets him up for a superplex, but Baxter shoves Gacy off and hits a 450 foot stomp. 450 splash into a foot stomp for the 1-2-3 at 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Your winner is Trey Baxter. I thought this was a very, very average wrestling match with two spectacular spots. The finish and that thing that Joe Gacy did on the outside.
Yeah, I think this is the most average match out of all the breakout tournament matches so far.
I'd say so. That's about fair. Yeah, this is very run-of-the-mill, very average. Again, I'll remember those two spots, but that's about it.
Having said that, Baxter versus Odyssey Jones, that could be a good match.
That's going to be very, very interesting. And I do think the booking of this was clever in that Trey Baxter just beat a bigger man, but now he's against the biggest man in the tournament. Exactly. And I'm also very excited for Duke Hudson versus Carmelo Hayes.
Yep. The semifinals are going to be really good. Odyssey Jones versus Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one, man. That's going to be a good final. I think that's for sure our final.
Yep.
I bet if we went back to our first show in October, it was around this quality. Our show has improved over the past year. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just messing with you, buddy. It's true. Well, we're figuring her out, though. Here's something that wasn't very good at all. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark go to the Ichiban restaurant.
I will never make a joke about a segment I want to see.
Yeah, right? Because it happened, and boy, Boris, you caused this with your mind. You called this out a couple weeks ago, and then it happened.
Also, like why are these overly produced, crappy, edited segments how are they making it on TV?
I didn't think the editing was like terrible, but I know what you mean. It's noticeably a step down from the WWE quality, quote unquote, and it's just like the humor is just like what. So like Io goes to speak to the waitress, and of course she speaks completely fluent Japanese, and the waitress responds. Zoe doesn't understand, so she says, I'll have what Io's having. So Zoe can't work the chopsticks, and Zoe hates the food, and she's spitting up food into napkins and throwing food all over the restaurant like an absolute maniac. She puts wasabi on her food and then eats some. But it's spicy, you see, Boris. Wasabi, it's spicy. God, we're so different, buddy. Culturally, right? Oh, my God. What a story this is. So
this is like borderline, like almost... Like
a pretty racist sketch, like out of the 2000s. They could have handled it in a far more racist way. There has been far more racist things in professional wrestling. But this was a 2000s sketch. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It had a little level of charm because Io's hilarious. The Io's reaction to getting the bill and sticking Zoe with it was actually great because, again, Io's a star. And Zoe did okay with this cheesy material. This is objectively bad, had a small amount of charm to it.
Yep.
This is straight out of WCW, WWF 2000.
Yeah, 100%. And this is not something that I would suggest you seek out to watch after the fact.
No, exactly. Take our word for it, guys. Take our word for it. Indy Hartwell promo. A lovelorn Indy, sadly. On one hand, family. On the other, true love, Boris. Indy and Dexter, true love. He's just misunderstood, by God.
Sure, whatever. I'm over with this.
Yeah, that story's not doing it for you anymore, eh?
It never really was.
No?
In the middle for a couple weeks, it kind of did a little bit.
It's no Otis and Mandy. That's for dang sure.
I forgot about that.
That's the true romance story of our time, buddy.
Hey, remember that Mandy Rose is on NXT?
No. What a waste of a talent.
Hey, remember that MSK are tag team champs on NXT?
No. No, I don't. Actually, what happened to MSK? I hope they're good. They weren't on this show at all for the last couple of weeks.
Didn't they cut a promo last week or the week before?
Did they?
I don't remember.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, the announcers are running down the main event that we're about to see, and oh my God, it is Karrion Kross. Boris, he stands on the announce table, says, Samoa Joe, you can never control this place. You couldn't then, you couldn't now. Who provoked who? Joe comes out, tossing security guards around like bales of hay.
Hold on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Karrion Kross runs away like a little bitch.
From Joe, tossing security guards around like a bale of hay.
Then Joe runs out.
Fair. Okay. No, did Karrion leave or did Joe come? I think Joe.
Joe was on his way out. As Kross sees him, he runs like a little bitch.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Again, would you not run from Samoa Joe? I respect.
You're Karrion Kross. You beat the four biggest stars in NXT. You've been destroying the roster for 15 months.
You're not going to hear any argument from me on this one.
Dude. Oh.
The only argument that I have is I don't think this would bug you at all had he not lost and been treated like a shithead on Raw. I don't think you would have even noticed had it not been for that. Now, that doesn't mean it's good.
Here's the thing. I go back to something I said this morning.
Yeah.
How can I take Karrion Kross serious on Tuesdays when he's a fucking... Sorry for all the swearing. I'm you today.
Yeah, we're potty mouthed. It's a crutch. I apologize. It's my first day. Anyway, continue.
How would I take Karrion Kross serious when he's being treated like a little goof on Mondays?
It's an excellent point, man. I can't argue that at all.
It has taken so much out of the main event of TakeOver. It's like Vince McMahon wants TakeOver to fail on a Sunday.
I agree with that. It's like he's punished NXT. He's like decided they've lost to AEW. They've lost the quote war, and thus he's not even that he's punishing them, but that he's like sees no value, sees no use, and he's just gonna do whatever he wants whenever he wants because fuck him. Because like he sees no value to them at all.
Man, I think we're onto something with this.
I think NXT might be in a little bit of trouble long term. We'll see, but I don't know. Especially because it's never really been printing money, you know? We'll see. Well, we're here to the bitter end anyway, buddy. But yeah, so Karrion Kross standing on the table, calls out Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe comes out, looks in the camera while choking out a security guard, yelling, "Kross, I'm coming for you," which was objectively badass and awesome.
And sweating profusely.
I'm sweating pretty good right now, but I'm like a 4 out of 10 on that Samoa Joe scale. He was dripping there, buddy.
I felt sorry for this poor security guy extra that he's just dripping on.
Honestly, yeah, the drip factor, the Johnny Drip was much worse than the choke, I bet. So that was great. Speaking of great, buddy, Event Center, Walter versus Ilya. So I'm not even going to like recap this. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to do it justice. This 100% has to be put on social media. It will be put on social media, I'm sure. Go out of your way to see this.
Yep.
It was the best thing on NXT in a while, in a long time. I love the little touch of having people talk about the match beforehand. It was like a little shout to the hardcores and to the European fans because there's a lot of Europeans in there as well. And I really, really liked that wasn't the whole thing. They immediately went from that into a very, very well done, crisp, awesome UFC-style breakdown of this match. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go out of your way to see this. Nothing that we can say here will do this anyway.
Exactly. This is probably going to be the second best segment of video produced by any wrestling company this week. Number one being the Everrise promo from AEW Dark. I haven't even watched it yet.
But you just know.
I just know. In my heart of hearts.
That's amazing. For the brand. Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, this is the best thing you're going to see in wrestling, I think, this week.
And here's the thing.
I hope I'm not overhyping it, but this was great. The best thing on NXT, dude, at least in ages, man. Ages.
Let's be honest. How many people know Ilya Dragunov?
Yeah, very few.
How many people watch NXT UK? Let's be honest here.
Not very many.
You maybe know or remember Walter because you've seen him a few times with Imperium against Ciampa, so you might know him. And, you know, if you know wrestling, you'll know Walter. But Ilya Dragunov, unless you honestly watch NXT UK, you have no idea who he is.
Exactly. He's pretty low on the totem pole in terms of WWE wrestlers. But that's why these things are so important. Because, man, not every person who watches UFC, for example, knows every UFC fighter. If you watch a boxing fight for the first time in a couple years, you might not even know either guy who's fighting. But that's why HBO does these things. That's why these things exist. They're so effective when done properly. This was on the level of like the best of UFC, the best of, maybe not the best of HBO, like 24/7 countdown specials, but this was WWE's version. And for a 2-3 minute thing, they nailed it, killed it, knocked it out of the park.
Yep, exactly. I loved it.
Main event time, buddy. Love her or lose her match. One funny moment at the start of this, Dexter Lumis does his move where he drop kicks a guy and then lays down on the mat and does the spooky eye crawl toward him. Beth Phoenix says Gargano might be looking into the eyes of his son-in-law, which was just hilarious. And I don't think that's quite how it works, but we're here for it.
I'll take it. I'll accept it.
So another hilarious, wacky spot. Dexter goes under the ring, and then Indy Hartwell, who's down at ringside, she goes under the ring to chase after Dexter. But then Candice LeRae comes out, Boris, and by God, she pulls Indy Hartwell out of the ring, who is, of course, holding on to Dexter Lumis. Whackity schmackity noo. But yeah, just a lot of that kind of crazy shenanigans and tomfoolery in this match.
You're not going to get a technical masterpiece from Dexter Lumis. So in my opinion, the way that this match was laid out was exactly what it needed to be.
I have right here. This was everything you expected it to be. Everything it needed to be, of course, my friend. Yes, I did laugh at Johnny Gargano leaving the ring and looking Beth Phoenix in the eyes and saying, "This is your fault," yelling at her directly. I thought that was hilarious. Lots of Indy looking sad in the background. Lots of Dexter Lumis getting near falls early. And then, of course, Gargano getting the heat and getting some close calls of his own. There's a really good spot where Gargano has the Gargano escape, and Dexter has to look at Indy and fight out of it, which he does. And then Lumis points to his elbow, going for a springboard elbow, much like Indy Hartwell's finisher. But of course, he misses that. Craziness all around, Boris.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. So the finish to this match, Gargano actually kicks Dexter Lumis into Indy Hartwell. Indy falls off the apron. Dexter, being the good, creepy bastard that he is, the good-hearted creepy man, he goes to check on Indy Hartwell, which is, of course, his downfall. Gargano hits the tope, one final beta. Sorry. That joke would have landed a lot better if I could read my own writing. It's a suicide dive DDT outside of the ring. The tope, one final beat. Tope suicida DDT. Throws Dexter in, hits the one final beat, and wins 1, 2, 3 in about 13 minutes-ish, give or take. I screwed up the timing on that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, this match was exactly what it needed to be. Gargano and Lumis, they're good with the comedy.
Yep.
It works. I like the fact that we didn't get full-on Johnny Takeover here. It was still like half the way, serious.
Johnny half and half, Johnny Arnold Palmer. One thing I did appreciate about this match was that Gargano won. I was really, I'm torn on this one, Boris. I'm actually torn on this one because I do like that Gargano won. He's the more important wrestler to NXT. He is by far the better wrestler. He needs to be higher up on the card. Yep. He should have won this match. Also, though, shouldn't Love have won in the end? If ever you're gonna make the exception, you know what I mean? Shouldn't it be for the power of love?
This is WWE for you.
It's so classic WWE. It's like Piggy James losing every match in the Piggy James feud until the one that she wins. Until Royal Rumble. What was it? 2009. Anyway, man, yeah. So yet again, Love loses in the end in WWE. So yes, go ahead.
Love did eventually win.
Sort of. So yeah. So after Gargano wins, and apparently for some reason Dexter and Indy can't be together, and the way are climbing up the ramp, Indy turns around, looks at Dexter Lumis, and sprints into the ring, full mounting him, and they make out fairly aggressively as NXT TV goes off the air.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was hot. I'm for it. But so weird ending to NXT and a very, very hard match to rate here. What do you think about it, buddy?
Here's the thing. I'm torn. It was an average match, good story, and I'm compelled to see what happens next.
Okay, good. I'm gonna counterpoint you slightly. I'm talking myself out of the finish. I think it's, in a nutshell, it's kind of good that Gargano won, but really, this is the time that you make the exception. You know who should have won? Love should have won, Boris.
Yeah.
I think this should have been the one that Dexter actually won. I think they tried to have their cake and eat it too here. They tried to get half pregnant with it, and they robbed the 100 extras out of the moment that they should have had when Dexter.
But they still had the moment.
Well, did they though? It was kind of a weird.
They still had their moment.
I don't know.
They had their moment.
All right, fair enough, buddy. I don't know about this one though. So I'm gonna go. We're gonna go under the Mendoza line for this one. We're gonna go 2. Flaming tackles out of 5. It's a 40%. It's a slight fail. It didn't quite land for me. But you know what? They got to the right place at the end. I guess it's fine.
Mm-hmm. That's for me. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
But Love should have won in the end, Love. Boris. Not the way. The Love. All right, I am profusely sweating. But you know what? We got through it, buddy. It was a good job. Next time we do it, I'll be much better.
No. You were fine. All right, it is time to talk about NXT UK in NXT UK Corner. Thank God we talk about this show, because thank God we watched this show.
I'm honestly so glad we started doing this, because it is definitely saving us right now. It's definitely like my highlight of the NXT talk portion of the wrestling watching week. I love NXT UK. This wasn't even the strongest show, but you know what? It's set up for next week, and God bless him. I'm excited for a Jordan Devlin match, buddy. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, man. I'm so excited.
This might be the moment that I flip the switch on Jordan. I might actually be a Jordan Devlin fan. We're gonna have to see. It's happening though. It's not the point where I see him, I roll my eyes and I'm like, oh, this friggin' clown, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. All right, so Andy Shepherd and Nigel McGuinness, welcome to fans at WWE NXT UK. We kick things off with a Irish Ace match. Jordan Devlin versus Tristan Archer.
I like this Tristan Archer. We've seen him before. He's a solid white meat kind of babyface, but you know what? Jordan Devlin, he's figuring this out.
Yeah, that's the one thing about NXT UK. NXT UK honestly feels like an indie promotion.
Oh yeah,
everyone's just like so cookie cutter. Not everyone. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, a lot of people though have that very generic, that very white bread look and feel.
Yep. So Devlin reverses a GTS into a nasty headbutt. Devlin puts Archer away with his Devlin side for the pinfall victory. So your winner, Jordan Devlin.
And he calls his finisher Devlin side, and I hate him again.
I love it. He's my favorite wrestler, just because you hate him. But how many crumpets, how many supernovas would you give this match?
Slightly above average. Good effort from the lads. We're going to go 3 crumpets out of 5, 60% supernova percentage, buddy.
So after the match, Jordan Devlin was informed by GM Johnny Saint that A-Kid wants a 30-minute Iron Man match. Devlin informs Saint that A-Kid's career will be on the line that night. He guarantees the former Heritage Cup champion he will never be the same again. Just when he says that, A-Kid hobbles out to the ring. Devlin tosses A-Kid's crutches. A-Kid stares into Devlin's eyes and pops his foot down. A-Kid is medically cleared. Huzzah! He takes it to Devlin, throwing him to the outside. A-Kid tells Devlin he looks forward to seeing the Irish Ace fail in their 30-minute Iron Man match that's scheduled next week, aka this Thursday.
Yeah, this coming Thursday, a couple days from now. Yeah, man, I thought this was pretty good. I like that A-Kid's fire, and I am very excited for this match.
Yep, it's going to be good. After this, we see Aoife Valkyrie and Ginny exchange some words.
Hook it to my veins.
Anytime I mention Ginny, you should see the look I give Matt.
Oh, jeez.
We see a hype package ahead of Walter versus Ilya Dragunov's match for the NXT UK Championship at NXT UK or NXT TakeOver 36.
Yes. I'm so excited that they're doing that on that show. Again, God, if only there could be fans. I almost hope that we do get a third one in Europe sometime in front of more than 100 people.
Yeah, let's hope so. In the women's locker room, push comes to shove when all of the women argue over who should be the next contender for Miku Satomura's NXT UK Women's Championship. So I'm assuming there's going to be like a battle royal or something to happen.
That'd be cool. They can do some kind of gauntlet type match. I agree with that.
I think they already just did a gauntlet a few months ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So. They did. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe even a tournament. Who knows? But yeah, Miko sowing some disarray in the locker room. I love it.
Aoife Valkyrie versus Ginny with Joseph Connors, which I think.
Well, I liked it, buddy. No, I don't know. This was a pretty average wrestling match, but I do think Ginny has something. I do. Well, both of these ladies are very, very talented, man. They're both good wrestlers, actually. So
this was a very good match.
Yeah.
So Joseph Connors climbs on the apron with another distraction. Valkyrie takes care of him. Valkyrie turns around and eats a big foot from Ginny. Ginny has clipped the wing of Valkyrie and picks up the pinfall victory.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, with the wing clipper. I like this match. It was very good. I'm impressed with both of these ladies. Like I said, I don't know. You don't necessarily think that they're going to be this talented. Like all up and down the card. Tristan Archer is another one. You just see kind of a generic person. You don't know a lot about them. But they're actually there's a lot of talent in this NXT UK roster. Oh, yeah. I think both of these ladies have a future with a company that was fair and just in a real, in a world that made any kind of sense. They could be called up. But yeah, they're probably stuck to NXT UK until they get fired in 2024.
Yep. Two other very talented people that would get more respect are Rampage Brown and Joe Coffey.
Big, hard-hitting hosses, Boris.
Yep. I wonder when this match is going to happen. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, we've seen different combinations of the two. We've seen them wrestle.
I want these two to continue their feud.
I feel you. The triple threat with Elia was awesome. This was a really great match.
I told you. Yeah. Backstage, a reporter catches A-Kid before he leaves the building. A-Kid looks to make history by winning the first ever 30-minute Iron Man match next week. And again, I love how realistic these backstage segments feel because it's like they're acknowledging the fact that there is a camera.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an invisible ghost cameraman. It's, hey, camera, come over here. Like, hey, do you have any thoughts? Like, the cameraman will sometimes pose the question, or someone off camera will pose the question.
Like the TMZ.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's so much better than the floating invisible cameraman.
Yep. Then, speaking of, run-of-the-mill looking wrestlers, we get Stevie Turner versus Aaliyah James.
Yeah, not a lot to this one. This was your pretty run-of-the-mill standard average. I think it was a step below the previous two matches that we saw.
Yeah. Before we move forward, Ginny versus Aphie Valkyrie. How many crumpets would you give it?
Oh, another 3 crumpets, similar to the opener. Maybe slightly better, but on that same level. We're going to go 3 crumpets out of 5, 60% supernova percentage.
Yep. And then the Stevie Turner versus Aaliyah James match again, it was what it was. Turner turns the tables with a rope-assisted flatliner to maintain her undefeated streak.
Yeah, so Turner looked good, but it's a pretty average match. We're going to go 2.5 crumpets on this one. 50% on the Mendoza line.
Yep. UK Performance Center, Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff are practicing. They will join forces and be a tag team very soon.
Have we seen the Dave Mastiff versus Tyler Bate Cup match yet? That's the Heritage Cup match I want to see.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That would be good. Next week, Blair Davenport will be in action, and then the 30-minute Iron Man match.
Sweet. Those are the only 2 things we need on the show. I'll take it.
Yep.
Do you think that... How long is it going to be until Will Ospreay shows up here on NXT UK? 18 months? A year?
Yeah, a year to 18 months.
Yeah.
At the very least. And then the main event. Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven versus Symbiosis, Primate, and T-Bone with Eddie Dennis.
Yeah, so this was, I'm liking Eddie Dennis. I'm liking the Symbiosis. It's kind of a weird presentation, kind of like a Mad Max-ish kind of thing almost going on with these guys. But it's working for me.
A retribution that kind of works?
Yeah, exactly. It's like retribution, but not a complete joke from the get-go.
Yep. So Bate makes the tag to Seven. Seven lands his 7 stars lariat. Goes for the cover, but no. Seven brings Bate back in again. Seven hoists Primate up on his shoulders. Bate flies off the top with a diving knee strike. Seven then connects a burning hammer. Cover on Primate for the win. Mustache Mountain seal the deal with a pinfall victory. So your winners, Mustache Mountain.
Mustache Mountain has like a real likability about them. They're such natural baby faces. Obviously Tyler Bate, but Trent Seven too. He's a very, very likable dude.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's such a good comedic wrestler.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Like he's got great timing, both like in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then post-match, this is something I can get behind. NXT UK Tag Champs Pretty Deadly come out and greet Mustache Mountain after their hard-fought battle. And I guess this is the setup to the next program.
I'm for it. I think it would look pretty good on Tyler Bate to have the Heritage Cup and the tag team titles as well. I hope that's where they're going even for a month or 2. But yeah, I'm excited for that match as well. NXT UK continuing to fire. The women's title's in a great place. Heritage Cup, great place. Tag team titles in a great place. And obviously the big title, the men's title, we're in arguably the best place it's ever been because we're about to get the rematch of the best match in NXT UK history maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So regardless of who wins that match, the UK Championship is in good hands.
I think so, my friend. So yeah, NXT UK continuing to slap the shit out of its American counterpart.
Man, I feel like we should take a little longer to talk about this.
Maybe we should switch the order on this and do a full blow-by-blow on UK and blast through the American one at the end.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how bad NXT gets.
All right.
But yeah, that's essentially the show. There's a lot of ways that you can get a hold of us. You can find us on the social medias. You can specifically Twitter and the Instagram, and you can find us at NXT TLK Podcast. That's at NXT Talk Podcast. You can also email us. The email is show@nxtpodcast.com. That's show@nxttlkpodcast.com. Ballergear.ca is your home for all of the SNME radio merch, including NXT Talk. Thank you to everyone who's already purchased the shirt. It really means a lot. Or cup, or whatever. Means a lot regardless. If you're listening to this, that means you're a patron. So, tomorrow, you will get a new episode of BAM. We're going to be talking some Jays. We're going to be talking some Raptors. We're going to be talking some sports in general. And then we're going to be going into a retro review of Royal Rumble 1993 with a couple other stuff in the show. So that's going to be fun. You have the Old Fucks All Elite Weekly. That's going to be happening on Friday. Saturday, the Smack Daddies, featuring one or two of us from NXT Talk. And then on Sunday, it's the main show. And then, we take it from there.
All over the map, buddy. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. We love you, Kyle Lowry. Yeah.